Cars. And I'm not talking about cars like that shitty Disney franchise that I used to enjoy when I was a little Pepe. I'm talking about these cars. Yeah, these ones. These cars are very good. Cars have a history. Cars have had many modifications since they were invented. And cars are now an essential part of life. We use cars for driving to work, restaurants, and places we've never been to. Now it may seem I'm getting off track like a student who needs an extra 100 words in their essay. But here's my point. What if we use cars in a way that's not only illegal, not only dangerous, not only irresponsible, but also in a way that it will cause many deaths upon the day that many people decided to go for a nice day out to the zoo, and out of nowhere some guy with some normal car is crashing and causing mayhem, and many people are pissing themselves with no idea what's happening right now. Well, that's what I do in Burnout 2.0 of Impact. Burnout 2.0 of Impact is a sequel to a racing game simply named Burnout. Burnout 2 was made by Criterion Games and published by Acclaim Entertainment. And I'm gonna tell you that Acclaim has had a bad reputation for shitty games like these ones. Not to mention their successor to LJN. But I digress. The game had a critical success when it was released on PS2 on 13 November 2002 in North America, 11th October 2002 in Europe, and in Japan on 1st April 2004. Also, there was a plan at some point that Acclaim would actually pay any driver for getting a speed ticket. That's a very stupid plan in my opinion. Like, what the fuck were they thinking when they thought of that shit? They got a ticket for a fucking reason, thinking they own the road and they're the next Paul Walker. And then they will actually become the next Paul Walker. But I'm getting off track again. And I sound like one of those soccer moms when their kid didn't get picked for a man of the match. So the question is it a very good racing game and critics were right about it? Or is it just a terrible sequel and belongs in trash? Well, I'm a reviewer, so let's take a look at this game. So in the beginning, you'll learn the basics of Burnout 2 in Offensive Driving 101. It teaches you the basics of the driving on the wrong side of the road, passing nearby them and not crashing, drifting, getting some air. All of this just to get a speed boost, and then it teaches you how to use it. I actually wonder how the argument will sound like about making this driving school possible, since nowadays Americans are pussies. After you're done with the tutorial, there's now more things to do. Championship is where you have tournaments, face-offs, pursuits, and sprint races. Then there are standard modes like single race and time attack. I'll get to the other modes later. There are over 22 vehicles, which some of them return from the original Burnout. The car stats are different from Burnout 1. In Burnout 1 you had them rated on how difficult they are to drive, but in Burnout 2 it has them rated on handling, acceleration, and speed. There are 15 racetracks to race on. Well, 30 racetracks if you count them in reverse. The racing in this game has that arcade style feeling, and it catches the mood of arcade style racing games perfectly. This game is also very fast. It may not be as fast as Burnout Revenge, where in my opinion was the fastest Burnout game of all time, but it's still fast. The game controls very great. I had problems sometimes because of the physics, but I got used to it. Oh, by the way, the physics are not very good in this game. Now the way they want to work in a concept is very good, which is driving and crashing. But the problem here is that these physics are playing the role of that one hypocritical dude who was on Tumblr and saying some social justice shit about Black Lives Matter, and then later he makes a black joke. Here's an example. You see that I crashed my car by this car. meaning that I gotta be careful when I'm racing, right? Well, in this clip, you see this. Now, my question to you, Burnout 2 Point of Impact, is... when the fuck it's okay to you to decide that counts as crash or not? Make up your fucking mind, damn it! Oh yeah, and the drifting is really great. What I like about drifting is that how it's smooth compared to the first Burnout's drifting. Also, when you combine Nitro with drifting, you will be the next deja vu. I've just been in this place before, guy, and joined the Tokyo Drift, boy. The tracks are very well designed when it comes using all its features you have to use. It has corners to drift on, it has bumps to catch some air on, and it has traffic just to make near misses against them, all to gain Nitro and win races. As I mentioned before, this game doesn't have only circuit races. It has sprint races too. Basically, it's go from point A to point B racing, but it's still very fun since they've designed it very well. Now, the main gimmick of this game is crashing. This game has such good looking crashes that, let's be honest, you wouldn't survive them at all. The crashes are so incredible looking that they have a mode based off of it named Crash Mode. Crash Mode works like this. You're sent on a targeted road to cause a mayhem, so you drive off, crash into one of the cars that's just staying there, and then cause the biggest mayhem and become the next sinful jerk that kill many innocent people just to pleasure your sick, twisted mind of crashing into someone. You know what? It's fucking fun, so die! 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 Die, you terrible pieces of shit! Your dreams and hopes are gone! As I was saying, it's a very fun mode. It was so fun that it made Burnout iconic, and it was actually the first game to introduce the Crash mode, which was later used in next Burnout games. There's a last mode, which is Pursuit. Basically, you're in a police car and you see some stupid kids doing some stupid shit on the road, and it's your job to stop them by crashing into them until their car is completely wrecked, and there's a chance you've possibly murdered them. This mode is not popular as Crash mode, but I still have fun with it, even though it can be frustrating when they get away. One final thing I'll mention is that the timer is a complete joke compared to Burnout 1. In Burnout 1, the timer was set on reasonable times, so that would give the mood of arcade-style racing games that have challenges in them. But in Burnout 2, it's pointless. It's very easy. It's not even a challenge. Look at that timer. If Burnout 2 Point of Impact was an arcade machine, it would go down as the easiest arcade game of all time. Like, I'm serious. Now, it's true that I sound like a whiny spoiled child that didn't get their iPhone 7, but my main point is that if you're gonna have a timer, then at least make it challenging so it doesn't feel fucking pointless. So anyway, the gameplay in general is fantastic. The design is very well done, the cars are amazing, drifting is amazing, it has very good feeling to it, the speed is amazing, and overall it's a very fun gameplay. It has problems like the physics and pointless timer, but still very fun gameplay. Graphically speaking, this game is good looking. Cars look nice, buildings are nice, everything is colorful, and shadows are good looking too. Music is pure perfection. It's just very awesome. The music was composed by Stephen Root. This guy did a soundtrack on Burnout 1. And I think he did an amazing job and improved overall, because in Burnout 1 it had some catchy tunes that don't fit the racing game too well. At least that's how soundtracks for racing games work for me. However, in Burnout 2, this game has changed its style from catchy tunes to some fast-paced rock combined with techno. Just listen and you'll know what I mean. Sound effects are very good too. Screeching tires when you drift, it sounds good. The nitro sound effects sound great. And the crash sound effect sounds great too. And it sounds all nice and clear. Burnout 2 Point of Impact is an amazing racing game even with its issues. The gameplay is very amazing on how it captured the arcade style racing game feel. The soundtrack kicks ass, the controls are great, and overall this is a recommendation for all racing game fans. So indeed, Acclaim has published a very amazing game. For once. I still don't like them. They haven't published a lot of good games like THQ. I mean, THQ published really amazing titles when the 6th generation of consoles lived. So why couldn't you do the same, Acclaim? Why couldn't you? Your name may be Acclaim, but you will never be acclaimed as one of the best publishers of all time.
Hey, let's calm it down. Let's calm it down.